AITA for suing my brother? I, 23F, have a very rocky relationship with my brother, 22M. To be frank, I hate him. I know hate is a strong word, but he has made my life a living hell. I have 2 other siblings, another brother, 25M, and a sister, 19F. My brother is on the spectrum. He's always had severe anger issues, and he's also my parents' golden child. He always gets his way, and if he doesn't, then he can throw a tantrum that lasts for days. The littlest thing could set him off. He's like a ticking time bomb. Whenever my brother has his tantrums, my mom would just drop me and my other siblings at my grandparents' house until he calmed down. Because his tantrums were so frequent, we were over at their house a lot. I didn't mind, though I loved spending time with my grandparents. Especially my grandpa. We were super close. We bonded over our shared love of vintage cars. My grandpa had a large car collection. His favorite car, though, was his silver Mercedes 300 SL. It's a beautiful car, and it was his most prized possession. My grandpa died 3 months ago, and it really messed me up. I'm still trying to process his death. Recently, we had to gather at my grandpa's house to read his will. My grandfather was a very wealthy man, and he had a lot of assets to share. I won't go into details, but everyone got a pretty fair share of the inheritance. Things got tricky when it came down to the sentimental items, though. See, my grandpa had willed his beloved Mercedes to me. I was so happy, as I had grown to love that car over the years. But my brother, however, was furious. He demanded that I hand over the rights to my grandfather's car to him. I was shocked. I didn't even know he had an interest in the car. And he had never expressed even the slightest interest in my grandfather's cars. My grandpa and my brother didn't get along for reasons that I won't get into. But apparently my brother said that his Mercedes was promised to him. My mother backed him up, saying that she remembered grandpa promising to give him the Mercedes when we were little. They were pressuring me to give up the car. But I couldn't bear to part with one of the only memories that I have of my grandpa. When my brother saw that I wasn't going to give up the car, he, in a fit of rage, he poured wine all over the interior. I'm not proud to say this, but I cried for hours. That car was so important to me, and filled with so many memories, and it was ruined for absolutely no reason. I lawyered up and served my brother his papers. My phone has been blowing up with texts from family members telling me that I'm an ass for suing my brother, that I shouldn't take family to court. But I don't care. I know my brother, and this is the only way that he will pay. My mom tried to use his autism as an excuse. But his autism isn't all that bad. And he destroyed my property. Now I'm starting to feel like the ass because it seems no one but my grandma is on my side. So Reddit AITA? NTA. While your brother is top. I'd say your parents are the ultimate in this scenario for enabling your brother to be such an a-hole. Honestly, in my opinion, you did the right thing by obtaining a lawyer. If this did not involve a death and will, then I would say it's probably overkill. But in this case, it's appropriate. /ETA /op. You absolutely need to protect what you're owed in the will. Good on you for getting an attorney. NTA. Personally, I don't feel anyone not offering to fix the damage has any right to judge. NTA. Autism is not an excuse for criminal behavior. If this were any other person, they'd be under criminal arrest for vandalism as well as the property damage. Far as I'm concerned, your brother is getting a break that he just has to pay for the damage. As for your parents, they are doing your brother only slightly less dirty than they're doing you. There's gonna be a day when bro isn't gonna have mom and dad to coddle his outbursts. Instead of getting him professional care and helping him understand what it will mean to be an adult, they're letting him stay the entitled child. So when he gets put into the real world, he isn't gonna handle it well at all. Sue him. Get your car fixed. Then lose both his and your parents' number. Until all of them understand that being an adult means being responsible for what you do. NTA. Let your attorney know that they're harassing you. Don't answer their calls or texts, but keep the call log and texts for evidence. I'm sure he can send them a strong letter to make them stop. NTA. If he's high-functioning enough to understand how to damage the car to make you upset, he can face the consequences. What a horrible thing to do, and it is unbelievable your mother would excuse his behavior. He was poorly parented. They literally dumped his siblings away for him to throw a tantrum. Father. NTA. I'm autistic, and I can assure you that there is a very real difference between tantrums and meltdowns. If I have a meltdown, I might accidentally hurt myself, and I might run, and I might sit on the floor and keen and wail to myself while stimming. You know what the worst and most distressful and painful meltdown in the entire world could never make me do? Destroy someone else's property out of spite. This simply is not an autism thing. He disrespected your dead grandfather's wishes and destroyed an item he loved. NTA. If you're suing him to get it professionally restored. I don't know how bad wine ruins interiors, but car detailing people are exceptional. You might be an asshole if you want the full value of the car. NTA. Your family has disrespected you and your grandfather, and I can bet your brother and mother are both lying about the car being promised to him just for the easy way out. Go through the legal process and don't think for a minute what you're doing is wrong. NTA. If he is too autistic to take responsibility for damages he causes, then your family should have backed you up in the first place, because he's not safe behind the wheel. NTA. Autism is not an excuse for his behavior. Your mother has enabled his poor behavior. With this as just the most recent example, you're finally setting some clear boundaries with your family. At least your grandma has some sense. My brother is 13 and autistic as well. But when I read this to my mom, she agreed with me and said NTA. She asked me, would your 13-year-old autistic brother know that it's wrong to pour wine in the interior of a car? I replied with, I hope so. And she said that that's what I needed to type. As another comment said, an explanation is not an excuse. And even then, your mom is an extreme enabler and has done you and all of her children, including your brother, a disservice. Something tells me autism has little to no role to play in this scenario. And regardless of whether it does or not, really shouldn't be relevant in your lawsuit. NTA. Autistic or not, he caused damage to your property that your grandfather legally passed on to you. Your family is just enabling his shitty behavior. NTA. Your parents really failed you and your brother. They shouldn't have coddled him. Instead, they should have taken him to a therapist where he could have learned how to manage his fits. Family therapy would have taught him empathy, which would have benefited you greatly. Instead, they spoiled him rotten, and his life as an adult will be very difficult because of your parents spoiling him. Your grandpa did not tell him he was going to get the Mercedes. Your brother was lying, and your mother was backing up her golden child. Your grandfather wrote a will and left it to you. Do not feel bad about having the Mercedes. Your brother only wanted it because it is important to you and he wants to take that from you. Condolences on your loss. NTA. NTA. I suppose it never occurred to them that the reason your grandfather changed his mind about the car was because he saw his children constantly abandon his grandkids in favor of the golden child? That I shouldn't take family to court. Quote. Oh. But apparently family can ruin someone else's car. Huh? Lol. If his parents didn't give him consequences for his actions, maybe the law will. NTA. NTA brother can go to hell along with mom. You're definitely not the pay to have the interior fixed and hop in that car and cruise till you find a place you love. Don't look back. Sorry about your grandpa. Mine died 8 years ago and I still cry when I think about him. NTA. The reason your brother acts this way is because your family enables him. Your brother did not want the car. He didn't want you to have it. If grandma's got your back, then I say why NTA? Even better. Your grandpa's will stated WHTAT he wanted. If he had intended for the car to go to the brat boy, he would have named him. Stick to your guns. The rest of the family need to stop treating your brother like his BS doesn't stink. What's he going to do when your parents are gone?
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.